warm river, about the mouth of the river. I'm going to be trying my hand at Euro nymphing. So I'm also going to be talking about it and what it is and how it's different from other techniques of fly fishing. But for the most part, I've only tried it once so far, and it was difficult for me at the time because obviously it was new for me. So we'll see how today is and if I've improved since last time. But like I said, I'm just going to be talking about it as well. What it is, why might people be interested in it, and maybe even why there's a stigma against it a little bit in fly fishing culture. So let's get fishing. What is Euro nymphing? Euro nymphing is a technique of fly fishing that that's nymphing, but it doesn't use a strike indicator. It uses a line as your strike indicator. But see, this is my problem with Euro nymphing so far, is that I get all tangled up real quick. Basically, it's using a longer rod and a longer leader to nymph. On average, Euro nymphing rod is about 9.5 to 12 feet or so, even longer sometimes, depending on the person and what they like. So, and the weight of the rod is lighter as well. And as you can tell, I'm having a hard time. But basically, the technique of it is casting upstream and letting it float down. Man, I am terrible at this. Maybe I shouldn't be giving advice. Well, I wasn't going to give any advice. The idea of Euro nymphing is that your flies aren't obstructed by a strike indicator up top while floating on the water. So there's some belief that a strike indicator, whether it's the bubble one or whatever strike indicator you use, it changes the way the fly floats or the nymph floats in the water, therefore turning fish off to it. Now, if you're just getting into Euro and into fly fishing, you might be wondering, well, what's the advantage of Euro nymphing over regular fly fishing with a strike indicator? And it's a good question. Euro nymphing can be seen by some people as what beginner fly fishermen do right off the bat, because it does, when it's done right, it can be very effective at catching fish of any kind, big or small. Also, it's looked down. It can be looked down upon by other fly fishermen because it doesn't require you to learn the whole casting, the whole idea of casting in regular fly fishing. The whole forward cast, back cast type of thing, and all these other casts like the roll casts and all that stuff. Once you get it down, the cast for Euro nymphing is usually just a flick upstream, which apparently I'm having problems with. That's all right. But in my opinion, I don't understand why there's such a stigma against it by some fly fishing anglers. If it's a whole new technique, and from what I've been learning, it can be difficult. Just like regular fly fishing at first, it can be difficult, but as you go out and practice more, you get a hang of it and you get better at it. See, this is just the second time I've been out, and I've had help from other people on social media, which has been great. But I was gonna learn or read more up on how to cast before I went out this week, but I just didn't have time. I was busy all week. But altogether, there's nothing wrong with Euro nymphing. If that's what you want to do, look into it. Look up what setup you should get. To me, it's just another technique on how to catch fish. And as I like to say, as long as it gets you out on the water and gets you catching fish, then what's the problem with it? So if you get backlash from other anglers, fly anglers, then whatever, don't worry about it. If you just want to go straight into Euro nymphing, by all means do it. So the idea of Euro nymphing, now that I got things figured out a little bit, is that your strike indicator is just part of the line. And that allows the flies to float a little more freely under the water. My problem is I don't know how to cast for Euro nymphs. Maybe I'm just slow or something, but people like to label Euro nymphing as easy. I found it's hard, and it's trying on my patience. I think it's because I taught myself how to cast with regular fly fishing, and in my mind, that's what my mind is telling me to do, is just cast regular, just cast it, and it doesn't work out like that. So each technique has its own difficulties when you're trying to learn it, and so to say that one is superior over the other is silly and frankly childish. If guy down the river, there's no guy down there, but if the angler down the river is fly fishing, regular fly fishing, and I'm Euro nymphing, okay, who cares? If they're Euro nymphing and I'm regular fly fishing, why would I sit there and judge that person? It's silly. And if you're on the river judging someone, then why stay on the river? Just go home. If you're there to fish, have fun, meet new people, encourage them. So those are my 2 cents. Take it for what it's worth. Get outside, put a bend in the rod, whether it's a fly rod or a spinning rod, and have fun. I may not have caught anything Euro nymphing today, but the fact that my leader isn't all tangled up and going home in separate pieces, I feel is a win. You gotta take every victory you can, I guess. Sorry, I'm getting something out of my pocket. Pockets are a mess. Hopefully I can land him. Looks like it's a whitefish. I'll continue my streak of catching whitefish lately. But hey, it's a fish.